So what we're going to start out with here is making sure that that everyone is aware of actually what is taking place in California. Now, some of you know that they're using energy weapons and laser weapons to set these fires. Some of you even know that the neighborhoods, the houses, are being burned down with these laser weapons. I mean, like, look at this footage. Look at this photo here. You explain to me how this takes place. Explain to me how this photo even takes place. It's not really logical that these houses in this order, in this array, would be set afire. It looks like there was someone in there who set fire to things because they wanted things to burn up. This is another map. The BLM has control of about half of California, Bureau of Land Management. The BLM has control of, if you take the western third of the United States, okay, and we plug in here, let me go up here and run another search. I want to show you something. If we plug in BLM land ownership maps, okay, you're going to see that the western United States, okay, all in red is owned by the government or by BLM, or at least they claim ownership, okay. As you can see, Nevada is about 95% claimed to be owned by the BLM, federal lands in one form or another. And then you've got Utah, Idaho, all these different states that are owned or claim to be owned by BLM or federal lands right now. Why is there a line right here? Okay, why is there a line? Why come it's not so serious out here yet? Okay, let me grab a different map. Well, let's look at this map. Here's a map showing you the percentages of ownership. So, if you don't know, the BLM is ran by the Israel. It's ran by Jews. Okay, and I'm not here to say a Jew bash thing. Okay, I'm as open-minded as anybody when it comes to we should love all people. However, we have a crazy Jew problem. They intend on taking this third of the United States. Now, what the ultimate plan is and what they're going to do with it, I don't know. But that is for sure why y'all guys are being burnt out. They want the people out. The BLM already owns most of the land. They want the rest of it. They're going to call a lot of these areas that they're going to re-regulate them and say that you cannot build in these areas because they're too dangerous. You know, too much danger. So they got to protect you and tell you can't build back on your land anymore. You mark my words, some of that's going to happen throughout these areas here. If you look at the UN map, the map that the UN put out about sustainable development, this is a sustainable development map. I believe this is the one. Yeah. Okay. As you can see, all the red areas you will not be living in. Let me blow this up for you. All the red areas you will not, absolutely not. Little to no human use. All the yellow areas are highly regulated use, but no one can have a house there. The orange areas are a NAFTA 200-mile wide international zone of cooperation. That's the orange areas. That's down here. Okay. Now, you're going to be hard to find it But normal use is this pale looking greenish color that you can see best off if you go up here. Pale looking green. Inside the red is surrounding you like a virus. And there's little pieces of green in other places. But as you can see, the entire state of Kentucky is yellow and red, except for a couple of little teeny spots. Looks like South Carolina, almost all yellow and red, just a few little pieces. So what they intend to do is to run us out of these places by whatever means necessary. And that includes the entire United States. But the western third of the United States is going down. You see, this country has been sold out from under us a long time ago. They just haven't knocked on your door and notified you yet. And they've got their plans in place, rolling forward, as to how to take us out peacefully, you might say, for the most part. Just like in California, they're burning people out of their homes, burning down entire neighborhoods. And the reason I say that is because some of the videos I've seen, some of the information I've seen, I mean, fires, a house fire burns at 1100 degrees. It will not burn down metal. It will not burn down brick. It will not burn the tires, the metal wheels on a car off, and then the metal run down the street. So they absolutely are burning up these houses in these neighborhoods in California, running people out of these areas. I mean, did y'all guys see this? I mean, it's just insane. I mean, did you see this? I mean, that is incredible. The tree on the outside, the leaves ain't burnt, but the inside of the tree is on fire. And none of the trees around it are on fire or have burnt. That's just crazy. I'm going to show you what I think is proof that the California wildfires, it's photographic proof, it's right there for everyone to see. Photographic proof that the California wildfires were intentionally set and controlled. Okay? If you take a look at this photo that you're looking at here in front of you, I'm going to show you this. First, tell you what, let me show you, let's take a look at a video that I think you'll find interesting. Now look how old this video is, okay? What is this, from the 80s? Okay.
system under development that tracks targets and engages them by combining 6 high-energy lasers into one powerful beam of light. The current LAWS prototype consists of the laser sources, power systems, cooling units, sensors, tracking and control hardware, and a custom beam director on a Kamito mount. The mount moves the LAWS beam director to keep the laser pointed at the target. LAWS is planned to be integrated with and complement the capabilities of the Mark 15 Close-In Weapon System, or CWIS. CWIS is a computer-controlled, rapid-fire, radar-guided 20mm autocannon that shoots at close-in air and surface threats. CWIS was developed by the Program Executive Office for Integrated Warfare Systems, or PEO IWS 3BC, along with its prime contractor, Raytheon Missile Systems, and operated the LAWS system and instrumentation. The CWIS was not part of this test. The UASs were launched and flew a realistic flight pattern for engagement by the LAWS system at tactical distances. The test at China Lake was a complete success, locating, tracking.
So as you can see, guys, and sorry about the audio there, this stuff's been around for a long time. There's no denying it. I mean, even this video, they're saying that, they have, like Buck Rogers kind of stuff. They have lasers, okay? They have really, really, really good lasers. They can be very accurate, like as in bringing down this UAV, or they can be more widespread if you wanted to burn specific things. See, they can choose with a frequency weapon to burn one thing and not burn another that are side by side in the same location. They can burn a car beside you and not hurt you, or they can burn you and not hurt the car. It's all based on the frequency that is required in order to combust and or dustify the object whatever the case is. Okay. Now, in our case, what our case is houses. Okay. Now, this is California. This is Napa. This is wine country. Okay. And we're looking at a high resolution photo from Napa. And this is of the recent fires. And I'm going to show you some things that I think when you take a photo, you can never look at a photo and know what's going on by just looking at it. You go, oh, that's a photo of some burnt down houses up in the mountains. That would be your only information you would have by looking at this a minute or so, or even a few seconds to a minute. However, if you take this photo and you look at it very close, you're going to notice some other things. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you let's just zoom in on this side over here of the photo. Okay. We're pulled all the way to the left-hand side and we're coming up. You can see that the houses and the cars and everything are torched. Strangely, the houses are leveled. Houses don't burn down like this, okay? If there's anybody that's ever worked in the fire department or the EMS departments or anything like that, houses, they will know that houses do not burn down like this, okay? There's normally a lot more metal sticking up in the sky, okay? You see how the houses are just gone? There's no pile of rubble, really. They're dustified. Okay? Now, anyone can look at this and they can argue various arguments about that. Okay? But as we go further up on this photo, I'm going to show you something else that you cannot argue. So we're going to go upwards till we get up to the forest. Oh, The forest that didn't burn. How did this whole neighborhood burn? But these trees, not just the green evergreens that torched in here, okay? Not just the green evergreens, but all the trees. None of them burned. All the way across. They didn't burn. This is information you need to show to as many people as possible. They need to see what is being done to us. These aren't other people or them people over there. Okay, this is us. This is our neighbor. Yeah, they're in California. And some of you listening right here are in California. But these, because it is not happening to your neighborhood, is no reason not to be furious about this. Now you say, well, maybe the wind was blowing only this way, and so it didn't blow into those trees, so therefore it didn't burn those trees, but it just happened to burn all the houses on the other side of the trees. So the wind was blowing this way again, and wait a minute, that would have torched these trees. If the wind was blowing in any direction, it would have torched these trees. It would have torched all these trees. But what did it just torch? See these trees up here, all green all the way around. What's missing? What got burnt? The one thing, the house. What got burned here? The one thing, the house. The house. Well, let's look up here, way back away from where the fire was even at. Let's go back up here into these foothills. Okay. One thing that gets burnt are, the houses. See the trees? All still standing right beside the houses. The houses are completely gone. You can see in the distance. And you say, really? I mean, they just spot picking the houses all over this area, Well, it's worse than that. It's way worse than that. And I'm going to show you here in just a minute. I'm going to show you this right here. I'm going to show you how big and how wide and how many houses they actually burned down. How many individual spots just out of nowhere, just a neighborhood burned down, or 2 or 3 houses burned down. No forest around it, nothing else burned, just 3 houses, or 2 houses, or 20 houses, or 100 houses. Forest not even there. Now look back here, you can even see back here in these foothills that you can see areas that look like this. Ashes. It's just the houses. They burned all the houses down and left all the forest, left all the trees. I guess they figured or felt that this area was too beautiful to completely wipe out. So they just wanted to wipe us out. Wipe you out. They wanted you out of this neighborhood. I spoke yesterday as to who ultimately is behind this. And I gave you some indications as to why people are behind this. You can see this is something that does not need to be forgotten. I mean, I'm sure you would agree. These people are, we're under attack. Do you understand this? There's hundreds of people, if not thousands, died in these house fires. They were murdered. So here we have another photo. Now this is a real high definition photo, I believe. So let's zoom in real close and see what we see on these houses. See what's left. Do you see how it looks like a nuclear bomb went off? Everything is absolutely torched. There are very few things that survived through this. There are a lot of these houses that are made out of brick, or at least have some portions of the home that have brick in them. Where is the brick? Why is the brick not still standing? It's not standing because, see, they can choose a number of frequency ranges that they want to hit with. So this weapon is not just one frequency hitting, it's a group of frequencies that hits. And whatever it is that they're aiming to be destroyed will be destroyed. And if they're not aiming to destroy it, if it doesn't get collateral damage by burning, it will survive. I mean, you can see clearly that these houses are just, this does not look normal, people, at all. How many house fires have we seen? And how many look like this? Okay. Let's look at the next one here. Now, if this ain't highly suspicious, I don't know what is. Okay. Where the hell did the fire come from? Okay, and how did this street over here burn down? How did this building and this street burn down? I mean, none of this makes any sense. I mean, the trees, look at the trees. This tree here is standing right beside the house and it's burning a little bit, but I mean, all these trees. How exactly this, I mean, obviously it's not normal. It's whatever they focus this weapon on. And this photograph is just more proof of it. I mean, all of us have been around for a while. Have you ever seen anything go through a neighborhood like this and just burn the damn houses? I mean, this would have to be an old, mature neighborhood with a lot of trees, okay, for that fire to be able to come through here and not leave one house standing in the areas that it burned. It's insane. Explain this. I mean, the rim on this car melted and ran down the street. Okay. Just happened to be the right frequency rate. Let's look at another one. See the windows. The windows are all gone. The car, the rims run down the street. I mean, this is just an additional piece. You can argue something about this, of that, you know, the house got hot enough that set the cars that got hot enough that it was able to get to the melting rate or melting point of aluminum. Well, let's look at that. Aluminum melting rate, melting point. 1200 Fahrenheit. Okay. That is 660.3 Celsius. That's hot. Very, very, very hot. Houses burn typically around 1100. Hey, this one actually has some brick left. This might have been a house that was collateral damage house, meaning it actually burnt because of the fire coming through the woods. So this might not be a real good example photo. Check out this building. Now this building is surrounded by concrete. Highway, trees, concrete, trees, that aren't burnt, but yet the building inside completely burnt and left the outside walls standing. And yes, this is a photo from California. And how do you explain this? Here's another one. The house burnt, set a little bit of the grass on fire, but did not burn the trees or burn the area around it. Just burned the house. Explain this to me, people. Who's the person that's out there that says they know how this worked? Where did the fire come from? It didn't come from this way because there's dry grass that didn't even burn. See this dry, tan grass that's not burnt? See this dry, tan grass that's all not burnt? Just some of it burnt right here. And the house burnt to the ground. Only thing left is the chimney. You can't explain this other than frequency weapons. There's another car, the windows gone, tires, anything aluminum ran down the street. Incredible. Now here's another photo that I thought was kind of interesting. Of course, you might be able to explain your way out of this, but you cannot explain your way out of that. Right there. Or these photos over here. You cannot explain your way out of that. Why the houses are burnt here, but the forest is not. And the forest is not, but the houses are burned here. And the forest is not up here. Here's a before and after photo. Example. If you look up here in the top left-hand corner, you'll see the park, a green park area. And you'll notice that everything else pretty much lines up the streets, pretty much line up. So I can go backwards and forth, and you can fix your eye on any particular area. You can see the before and the afters. The trees somewhat did burn in this photo. Some of them. Not all of them. I mean, like look at this tree right down here. The bottom of the screen right where my cursor's at. Bottom left. See that tree in front of the house? That two smaller trees beside it, right up at the house. They didn't burn. House gone. Okay. Same thing over here, where my cursor's at. And there's a lot of trees with quite a bit of foliage left on them. I mean, you say, well, maybe it wasn't that bad of a fire. It burned down the whole damn neighborhood. It was a badass fire. It burned down every house to the ground. There should not be a tree standing with a leaf on it. Let's use logical sense. More photos of burnt neighborhoods. Basically the same story again. You see this? Can you believe they're doing this to people? Look how many families lost everything. This is just one spot. I'm going to show you something that's going to blow your damn mind as to how many people they attacked and how many families and how many areas in California. I'm going to show it to you. Something very, very mind-blowing. What this is a Google map. Google Earth probe map. And this has, in this square, it has everywhere that a fire has been set. Okay, I think this goes back. It's a 2017 map. Okay, everywhere a fire has been set and the landscape changed, such as neighborhoods and forests and all that kind of stuff, you will see. For instance, if I zoom in on here, as I come in, you'll start seeing areas that are in red. See little red areas? Okay. These red areas and these yellow areas like this, this is all burnt forest. Okay. Or burnt areas. Now you may notice it looks like chicken pox. That in fact these whole areas did not burn, but it looks like somebody shot it with a a shotgun, had a pellet spread out, and looks like the measles or something, or chicken pox, right? Looks like the mountains have chicken pox. Now, why do you think that is? That the mountains have chicken pox? And we got some dots in the water, which is really strange. The mountains have chicken pox for the same reason that the cities and the areas around the cities have chicken pox. These areas burn out. This is according to NASA actually put this out. They're claiming this is accurate. That there were little fires in these locations. Or big fires. And I can zoom right on in here. This looks like it was a neighborhood. Looks like a field burnt maybe. But all these areas are areas that they say that caught fire or had indications of fire. And they're all over the entire valley. They're all over the mountains. They're all over the valleys. They're in the cities. Why were there fires set so random? I mean, how were these fires so random in locations? See how random this is? I mean, they're not talking about this on the news. I mean, there were fires at least set or being attempted to be set. According to their satellite, there were fires everywhere. I think I've shown in this video, particularly the beginning of it, that we absolutely, that these people have burned these people out of their homes. Okay?